Welcome to the show.
All right. Well, tonight, as you know, we have Mark D. Antonio.
Who's
How's it
that?
going? I know that's what Amanda said. I said,
Yeah.
I told her in the Mixler chat today in the music show, I said, and we have Mark D. Antonio as our guest. Who? Mark who?
I don't know anybody by that name. Yeah, no, that's cool.
No, she's having fun. She's just saying, oh, it's Friday. We're having fun. Come on.
Yeah.
Calm down. Calm the F down, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got this.
All right, so I was looking up some information, just fun stuff to discuss with you about this eclipse. Big story, there's an eclipse on Monday, right? And everyone's freaking out. They're all going crazy about it. And it's like nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be an eclipse. That's all. Don't worry, people.
That's right. And
There
I'm
you go.
ready.
See that? I do have. Hey, look, I did get some.
You know,
Told,
as
see?
silly as these are, these are really all you need. They're
Right.
perfect. Now, I have to admit, I do have a solar telescope
Yeah.
in the other
Do you have
room.
that handy to show?
I do. If you want me to go get it,
If it's close enough.
yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and these are,
T-Mobile specials.
yeah.
You can't sue them if they don't work.
Uh,
Have you tried looking at the sun with those, Bobby?
I have not yet.
Oh, you can. Well, maybe tomorrow when it's nice and dry and clear out there, you should go out there and look at the sun with
And,
those.
Let me
Is that the one that I saw on your shelf?
back in here. I probably don't have to use a headset, huh? I can probably just put it right through the speakers.
and
It
we
has
got,
cancellation, I think, right?
Hi, Oopie. Oopie's
yeah,
here.
Luffy out of Mori. Don't worry. With
Luffy out of
80
Mori.
and CTE.
Can I hear you? Yep, I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yep,
Yeah, now we can.
and you can hear me, so we're all good.
Yeah, I'm not. Too. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this
Bad
is
enough. We're gonna start checking buttons.
this is
That's
my
the one that I saw, right?
this is my solar telescope
Yeah.
right here. It's called the PST, the Coronado PST Personal Solar Telescope. It's a H alpha, hydrogen alpha, and this. Hey, no yawning over there. I saw you. Stop. What you yawning up there? You stop yawning up there. This telescope has a special set of lenses that allow the solar radiation to be bounced back, but only allow in one particular frequency, and that's the frequency of hydrogen alpha, ionized hydrogen. And this ring right here is called a tuner, and it can turn, as you can see. And by turning it, it allows us to look at the sunspots on the surface all the way back
Ooh.
out to the flares and
With the flares.
prominences on the edge. Yeah, and
How much do those go for? Can you?
this one when I bought it was around $800, and it's still hovering at around 800.
Okay.
And I'm getting a mount for it, and I'm getting a camera to attach up here instead of an eyepiece.
What
And
kind of a
that
camera? The same one like the Zoho, whatever you call it?
it's going to be another ZWO camera,
Yeah.
probably a 120 mini monochrome.
Okay.
And then
I like that.
that'll transmit, and then I'll be able to stream
Green light.
the sun from here. And
I like
so
to see the solar flares. Yeah, that's what I want
yes,
to see.
and that's what this is going to be good at.
Okay.
And this is the entry level version of the solar
Right.
telescope. The next one on the list is one that's going to show a lot more. In fact, where this is right here, you'll notice that you can't see it, but it's threaded in here
Mm-hmm.
because you can thread on another set of lenses called a stack that will actually allow us to see even more detail.
Oh, nice. And that
Yeah.
one that reminds me of a remember the kaleidoscopes we used to have at
Oh
school?
yes, that's right.
And the broken glass they had in there.
And
And
it would,
make all
it would,
kinds of fun shapes and everything like that.
yeah, it would
Snazzy
tumble.
solar telescope. Oofy.
That's Yuffie. Hi, Yuffie.
Watch out for her. She has some weird questions.
No, I know her. She's been in Skype her live stream for years.
Yeah.
She's been a great follower, you know.
All right. So now I was looking at this and I noticed there were. I always thought there was 3 types of solar eclipses, right? And then I look at the one site, NASA.gov, looked up types of solar eclipses, and they said, "Oh, there's 4 types." All of a sudden, there's 4 types. Must be a Democrat thing. I don't know. But anyway, all of a sudden there's 4. Extra vote, right? There's
What
4
is what's it say the fourth type is? I mean, I know of
hybrid
annular.
solar
That's the
eclipse.
third.
No,
You have
that's the 4th.
annular,
No, you
you
had
have
okay.
annular, total solar eclipse, and you have a hybrid.
No, you have a partial,
Well, okay,
and then the hybrid.
partial. Okay,
See, I always thought 3
partial
as well.
eclipse is okay, and any eclipse where the moon passes in front of the sun, okay, as from our perspective, is an eclipse, a solar eclipse. Okay. Now, yes, you can have a partial where only part of the sun is covered by the moon. Folks in California are going to see just that. Okay. Folks in Colorado will see just that. Here in Connecticut, we're going to have 92% of the sun covered. But it means also that we're technically it's a partial eclipse for us too. All right. It's not a total. The total line is that thin line going up from Texas all the way up into New York State and Vermont and all that. And so, yeah, now the hybrid is interesting. And the reason that it works like that is because the Earth is curved. Okay. So if you're on a total eclipse line at a certain point on the Earth, and you look at the Earth versus the moon and distance to the moon, you'll notice that where you're positioned on the curved globe's a little further away. Okay. So the moon's a little further away from you. Okay. And so that's going to make the sun look a little different from when you're more in the middle of the eclipse where the moon is closest to you. In a case like that, you'll see a total solar eclipse, but the people on the edge are going to see an annular eclipse where you see a little ring of sun around it.
Yeah.
As long as they're on that totality path. And that's something that's, again, if the Earth was flat, and of course it's not, if the Earth was flat, then we would never have a hybrid eclipse like this. So that's how that works.
And I was thinking about that today.
And the Facebook user was Jenny. So what's up, Jenny?
Okay, Jenny knows better.
Yeah, and will the solar eclipse will be live streamed on the channel? That's what Ufi wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, I don't have a camera for this telescope yet, so I can't stream it. I won't be able to stream it. So I'll settle for doing. I mean, I did a presentation on the eclipse day before yesterday.
Oh, good.
Full house people that were in this place, and then I'm going to be doing another live presentation Monday for the eclipse. So
that's good.
I'll have people just by the droves wanting to look through this little eyepiece, so it'll be good.
At least they gave you that opportunity to do that since this is a major event. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You and I might not see another one, in our backyard, that is.
True. I mean, they happen all the time, actually. Total solar eclipses are not rare, but when it crosses across the United States, like this particular one, that's the part that makes it rare.
There's Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, what's up, Jenny?
Jenny Colucci, paranormal investigator.
Oh, I see. Jenny Colucci, I see her there. Yeah. Ufi says, have I experienced a full solar eclipse and stood in the path of totality? Yes, I have. I went up to Vermont to witness totality for one that had come through there earlier than obviously the one that's coming up. And it was really cool. It's neat to suddenly see the sun go away. And when the sun goes away, you instantly see this outer atmosphere show up, this gigantic corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun. Now, the surface of the sun, like at the photosphere, where you see sunspots with these glasses, the kind of things you'd see with these glasses, um, the temperature is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay.
Right.
But if you go out to the corona, okay, you have the photosphere where you see sunspots. You have the chromosphere, which is similarly, the same temperature wise. And then when you get to the corona, the temperature jumps up to about 2 to 3 million degrees.
Hmm.
And it's odd because it was a find. It was sort of strange. We didn't expect that you would end up finding that the corona of the sun was hotter than the surface of the sun.
Hmm.
And of course, when we looked at all the particle interactions going on out there, well, then we saw, the incredible differences in how the corona particles and solar wind are acting together to actually form a much hotter location. However, it's not as dense as the surface of the sun. So the particles are few and far between, and the energy and the photons and so forth that are coming out, they have a certain amount of energy, but there's not enough protons and electrons from the solar wind to actually, and that's physical matter, to actually, be a dense cloud. It's actually a very thin cloud, as we'll say, for the
Yeah.
corona. Ufi's saying that I experienced the perturbations of shadows on the ground at totality. I was looking for those are called eclipse bands, BANDS, and I did not see eclipse bands at this time. But again, you got to have a special methodology to view them. You need maybe a big white building wall or something that you could, that doesn't have a whole lot of change to it. I was on the road in a parking lot, and you couldn't see those on the asphalt. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see them. No, but they are there. They're there. They're a really cool interference pattern created by this. Yeah.
Okay. And then I had a question. When it has
Never have questions.
always. Sometimes I ask myself questions, and then it gets weird.
Yeah,
But,
and I answer them, and I don't believe myself. That's another one.
But when a solar flare happens, like we always worry about that. Oh, it's gonna hit Earth. The energy's gonna hit Earth. So it goes out 93 million miles from the sun, and it causes us damage. Is that what it's talking about, the solar flare?
Yeah.
Or is it
No, let me explain how that works, because we see the light of the solar flare 8 minutes after it happens.
right?
Okay. However, a solar flare is an ejection of physical mass. So we're getting particles, protons, and electrons, and so on, okay, leaving the sun at a high speed and making their way to us. The light from that flare ejection we see in 8 minutes, but the particles take several days to get here. And
Yeah.
if we see the flare occur on the side of the sun facing us, all right, over the next couple days, the Earth is moving ahead in its orbit, and some of that stuff will miss us, but much of what we saw is going to hit us because it's facing us. And so those particles come streaming out. So it's like this. It comes out like that and then goes right by us. And as it passes us, a lot of these high energy particles get trapped in our magnetic field and spiral down at the North Pole, spiraled in at the South Pole. You see brilliant aurora borealis and then brilliant aurora australis down in the southern hemisphere. And it is just an incredible sight. But if it's a large enough flare, then you could be sending so many particles, so many protons, and so many electrons and so forth to our planet that when they stream down into the atmosphere, they actually make it to the ground and go into the strata, the bedrock, and travel thousands of miles through the bedrock. And when they do that, they reach electrical substations, they reach power pylons, and they climb up the power pylons and possibly, short out substations along the way.
Mm.
And they create something that we knew as the Carrington event from years ago. Obviously, in the at the time when we had a major solar storm, they said the Carrington event could be one to actually wipe out our grid for days or months because of the uh, energy that could be thrust into our bedrock from the sun. Um, and that comes with the danger of having an above ground grid. See, if we had a grid that's underground, we wouldn't care. It wouldn't be as bad. We could shield the wires underground and they would be shielded. But when they're on the surface, you know, just snow passing by wires induces a current in those wires.
Yeah.
It's called an
So,
induced EMF, so we have to worry about that.
Yeah, get your
So-
electric car. Get your,
yes.
your
So speaking of the Carrington event, do we have any news articles or even some photos or something, or probably like some type of artwork or something to see how did that affect work or what?
Well, in 1859, this occurred, and we didn't really have a whole lot of recording devices that were capable. It was an event that had these amazing auroras that were seen all over the world. It started fires all over the world because it overloaded electrical grids and so forth. And so this was in September, so winter was just getting underway, fall, and it was the 1st of September when this occurred, and it was a solar cycle that managed to just uh, damage or destroy a lot of telegraph stations. And this event um, nowadays would affect not just substations, but satellites, GPS, Starlink, television and radio, geostationary satellites, because such an outflow of material would hit those, and unless they're shielded, they're gonna end up getting literally overloaded and fried.
hmm
So this is why another such Carrington event could cause a tremendous amount of damage to us because we're more vulnerable than ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the electric car idea then?
Um.
Not from a political standpoint. I'm talking about
No,
realistically. What do you?
I don't talk politics, so we won't
Right,
even go. I
right.
won't even go down that
So,
path.
so in the scientific point of view,
Yeah.
realistically, electric cars. What do you think of it compared to our current situation?
I think that um, electric cars are okay if you're going short distances, but for long distances, there's no replacement for fossil fuels, and
Right.
I know that we need a lot more technology. I know that in the movie Back to the Future, right? Uh, Doc, all right,
Yeah.
says, I gotta use. Oh, I need some garbage, and he puts it down in Mr. Fusion, and off the car goes.
No, that'd be cool.
Right. Well, the fact is, there will be a time when we'll have power supplies the size of this can.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe we'll have power cells. Maybe this could be a fusion reactor at some point down the road. Maybe it'll be the size of a water bottle. I don't know. Okay, but we're going to have that technology, and we're going to be able to have individual power. Right now, we use batteries. Well,
Mhm.
we might have a fusion reactor, and all we have to subscribe to is a hydrogen service or something to pump up our and top off our hydrogen storage
Yeah.
in order to do this kind of thing. Fusion releases a lot of power for it's atom for atom. It releases a lot of power, and it's much safer than fission, which is what we have now.
Yeah.
When we look at our nuclear fission, and people say it's splitting the atoms. Well, actually, what it really is is it's fuel rods filled with radioactive pellets, and they don't interact vertically, but they interact horizontally. Okay, so they put fuel rods next to each other, and these fuel rods will affect these fuel rods by generating uh, particles that hit these fuel rods and cause these fuel rods to generate particles, and they end up heating the water that they're in. The water is transferred through a turbine, basically, or to a turbine, and all a nuclear reactor does is make steam to drive
Yeah.
turbines. That's all it does.
So we got two questions from Ubi. I want to rephrase this one. Would
Yeah, let me
electronics be affected?
let me get back to that. Let me finish the other thing first, Bobby, because
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
because the fission fusion thing is very important to understand.
Yeah.
So the fission, okay, that's what we use now, and fusion is what we're heading for. Lawrence Livermore has made some really great strides
I know that's it.
in doing fusion. They haven't gotten more power out than they put in. That's the goal down the line, but they haven't. But they have created a sustained reaction. That's very important. And then, so that's good. So we're on the road to fusion. Okay, we're on the road to fusion, which is the power of the sun. But fission is what we've got now. So when you have these fuel pellets in these stacks like this, they're reacting with each other, and to make them either speed up the reaction or slow down the reaction, you drop these rods in between them that block the fuel rods from interacting with each other. Those are called control rods in a nuclear reactor. So by metering how far down you put them, you can bring the reaction down to a little percolating, or you can make it a full-on boil, so to speak, by raising them up. And if you let it go too long, it could heat up too much and melt them. So, and of course, that's the meltdown that everybody fears. But to stop these reactions, to stop a fission reaction, you have to have the energy to push those rods down into the nuclear core. Okay. So you need energy to stop them. Okay. So you have to apply energy to stop a nuclear fission reaction. I'll come back to that in a second. Now, with fusion, on the other hand, fusion is a finely tuned, finely balanced reaction process. If you get anything wrong, it doesn't melt down. It doesn't blow up. It doesn't blow the top off a building. It doesn't explode and put radioactive emissions into the atmosphere like Chernobyl. Okay. It just shuts down. So if you can't balance your reaction, all it does is shut down. It won't explode. It won't create a meltdown. So fusion is far safer. And by the way, one of the fuels for fusion is tritium. All right. And tritium is a hydrogen atom that has 2 neutrons in the core in its nucleus. Okay. Deuterium has a proton and 1 neutron. Okay. Well, tritium is one of the fuels, okay, for fusion. And you could rub the powder on your skin and it won't get in. You could breathe it in and you'll have some radiation within you, but then you get rid of it. It doesn't accumulate. The next time you go to the bathroom, it'll come out. And that's how tritium works. It'll leave your body. It's not a permanent radioactive danger like the fission products. You get exposed to plutonium, you're dead. Okay, you get exposed to tritium, and you gotta go drink a lot of water and pee a lot.
You said that word tritium. I thought of tryptophan. You know,
no, that's turkey. You
that's
turkey.
another whole nother
Don't
show.
do that, because then Bobby's gonna go off on that. No. Well, and to answer the question, will electronics be affected? Yes, absolutely. In a Carrington event situation, we could lose our electronics. You know, your computer, this computer, you'd lose Errt radio.
Oh no!
Yeah, for a period of
That'd be
time.
terrible.
It would. So you have to be really careful about managing electronics. One of the things that people do, in fact, where we have SkyTour Sonoran, the Arizona, Western Arizona-based observatory, that observatory is on the property belonging to a Lawrence Livermore nuclear physicist, and that on that property there is a a massive Faraday cage, which is a protective cage that will house electronics and computers to keep them safe in such an event. So,
Interesting.
yeah. And of course, there's so much security there that sometimes I can't even get into my own building. Okay.
No,
Oh yeah, no, it's very secure. There's 25, 26 security cameras. They see you coming literally a mile before you're there. They know you're coming.
that's good.
Yeah, it makes it really good. So, it's as secure as you can imagine. It's like Fort
That's
Knox.
good.
So, yeah,
So
Benson,
is fission the
site
way
for
to?
Benson will be the same as well. Go ahead.
So fission, is that part of the space travel power supply that we'd use, like for the one drive that you were mentioning before?
No,
Is that a whole
that's
different thing? That's a whole
that's
different.
it's a fusion thing that's gonna power that process.
Okay.
But we do use nuclear reactions and nuclear reactors. Um, we have the radioisotope generators, the RTGs, okay, and these things power things like the Curiosity rover, Perseverance, and these things are effectively little nuclear reactors that have fuel that's expended in it. At a certain point, that fuel is going to run out, and then they're going to be dead. But um, that's how we are currently exploring the solar system. Cassini had such a system. Other rovers had such systems. Um, so these particular little tiny generators, I say little tiny things, they're actually pretty big. Um, these are the source of power for these vehicles right now. But it's like a extended battery that lasts a lot longer than typical batteries.
We
Okay.
need that for the phones. That'd be awesome for a cell phone.
Yeah, but if anything goes wrong with them, you don't want to have a super radiation source next to your head.
Right. Now there is a satellites that orbit the sun called SOHO.
That's correct.
Okay, I want to make sure I had the letters right. Sun Observatory, something, whatever. I can't remember.
It's
Anyway,
like the
solar.
Solar Orbiting Heliospheric Observatory.
There you go. Yeah. And anyway, they see both sides of the sun at the same time, and they orbit opposite sides, I believe.
Yeah,
And they're always going around the sun. They catch it all the time. Is there a way to look at that?
of course. You can
There's.
go you just look up SOHO,
Oh,
SOHO,
okay. Okay.
and you'll see all the SOHO images daily.
All right. Cool. I
Yeah.
know you said you shared the one with the moon. What you said.
Oh yeah, that
What
was the
is?
Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Quick Map. That is this
There you
one.
go. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember looking at that.
yeah,
So
that's really beautiful.
I learn a lot on your streams, and if anyone's interested in that, you need to look up Sky Tour live stream on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're
And
doing well with equipment wise, in part thanks to you and thanks to
oh yeah,
other people that are our
well,
patrons.
you do so much for everybody else, and I want to help with that. So non-scientific, okay.
Yeah, Upi says, any thoughts on stories related
That's a
to
good question.
this eclipse and metaphysical or mythological co-events? I was on Clyde Lewis's show Ground Zero last night for an hour, and we were talking about the eclipse and some of that stuff. And honestly, um, there, just right up front, I say there's no connection that I see other than cultural connections for how the eclipse will actually affect us. Because what people need to understand, the ones that, and this isn't Ufi, I know Ufi doesn't think this way, but the moon orbits the Earth, okay, but it's really far away. So if I have the Earth here and this is the moon, as it goes around, it's 5-degree inclination. So it's either 5 degrees above the plane of our Earth's orbit or 5 degrees below. We're kind of in between as it goes around the Earth here. Well, as it does that, when it's on the same side as the sun every month, it becomes a new moon. That is to say, the lit up side of the moon is facing away from us. It's facing the sun because the sun is like over there and the moon is over here. So this side of the moon is lit up. This side is not, and we're here. So that's why we see no moon or a new moon. And then as it starts to go around in its orbit, we start to see parts of it lit up partially until it goes to full. All right. And then after that, it goes to it goes to first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, and then new moon again if it's a monthly cycle, right? But when it's on the same side of the Earth as the sun is, okay, if the sun is over here, when the moon's over there, okay, it's over here. I guess I'm trying to figure out how I'm doing this. It's backwards.
You're doing it backwards because you see it backwards on your
Yeah,
side.
it's backwards. It's really whacked up. Yeah. So the bottom line is, whenever the moon goes around the Earth, it ends up on the same side of the Earth as the sun every single month. Okay. And so the change in the gravitational force that it pulls on us with is negligible during the eclipse versus not during the eclipse. And the reason I say that is because the moon's orbit is slightly elliptical. It's not a perfect circle. It's let's exaggerate it, okay? Let's say it's like this, okay? And let's say the Earth is here. It's not going to be in the middle. It's going to be kind of near one end. So at one point, as the moon's going around the Earth, okay, it's going to be closer to the Earth, okay?
Mhm.
And then it goes a little farther away, and then it's closer to the Earth when it comes around again. Well, let's say that as it does that, okay, this point where it's closest to the Earth, right, actually kind of moves. So it'll do this. So here's the Earth. It'll be closer and farther away, and then the next time it'll be closer, farther away, and that's going to make a gentle circle around the Earth. And as it does that, there'll be a point where the moon is on the side of the Earth that the sun is on, okay, facing that side. And it'll be closest to us at the same time that the sun is over there too. So it's going to be a new moon and it'll be over there, okay? And it's not always going to be exactly crossing its orbit to get up to that 5-degree inclination above or 5-degree below. It's going to be somewhere in between. And most of the time, it's somewhere in between. So even when the moon is closest to us and on the side of the Earth that the sun is on, at the new moon, we will still see no change at all effectively to the gravitational pull on the Earth or effect on the Earth from the sun-moon combination when it's there. There'll be no change. So in any practical sense, so the bottom line is that eclipses don't mean anything as far as effect on the Earth, other than the shadow of the moon just happens to be crossing part of the Earth and not the whole Earth, just part of it. For instance, they're talking about running some experiments at CERN while the eclipse is going on, and people are going, "Oh no, what are they doing?" Well, overseas at CERN, they don't even see the eclipse; they just see the regular sun all day long.
Right.
And then they're gonna be going into nighttime, all right. And the bottom line is that the eclipse is going to take place in the United States and into the Atlantic. Well, in the Pacific, United States, and into the Atlantic, it's not going to reach into Europe. So no one there is even going to see it.
And then the rockets, NASA's going to shoot some rockets, and
Yeah, NASA's going to launch some rockets, but it has.
why would you want to do that?
Because guess what? Science continues. It's part of the scientific schedule.
And Jenny had a question for you.
Okay, I can understand why certain planets cannot have an eclipse, but which other planets have the greatest number of them? Well, obviously, the answer to that question is Jupiter. Okay. Every single time Io goes around Jupiter, the closest moon to Jupiter, its shadow will appear on the disk of Jupiter. And so we will get an eclipse of Io on Jupiter every single time, because Io is in the same plane as Jupiter's plane of the solar system.
Mhm.
So if there's a subtle difference, Jupiter is so big that Io casts its shadow on the planet every single time. So I would say that Io is making the most eclipses in our solar system.
Now, here's a good question for you. Always. I always get a good
It better be a
question.
good question. I'm just going to
All
hang
right.
up.
If when the moon is new, like on a
Yes.
regular month, no
Right.
eclipse. When the moon is new, is there a way to find it?
Well, sure. I mean, use Stellarium. Stellarium is free, and you'll see the moon. You'll see exactly where the moon is. And Stellarium is very good at even estimating what its phase is, so you
No.
can see the percentage of it lit. Now, there are people that hunt for what's called the young moon, where it
3
just
days.
passes, like a 3-day-old moon.
That's the earliest I've seen it.
Yeah, and so that's finding the moon when it's just emerging from being in front of the sun as far as our view in our daytime sky. And then as the sun sets, you can see that little sliver
Hmm.
of the crescent. And the idea is they're hunting for the smallest possible crescent they can get.
And
Okay. And as
it
you
is
said, you can
amazing.
see in
Yeah,
3 days.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know what the earliest is that you can catch it, depending on, I guess, how high it is and where it is in relation to the sun, maybe.
yeah, I think that people have caught it at less than 3 days, but
Okay.
I'd have to look that up to find it out.
I
I
thought
don't
three
know
days
that.
was pretty good when I wasn't trying. I thought 3 days was pretty good just by accident.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's not bad.
So,
You get a
and
gold.
it
You
looks
get a
like a
gold star.
fingernail. Looks like a fingernail.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of cars, remember the toy cars called the Sizzler cars? You charge up with a
Oh,
little recharger
zzz.
thing. No, you charge up with like a
Yeah.
charger thing and you run around for 20 minutes and be out
Yep.
of juice. You got
Yep.
to plug in that again. that's what the, that's what these electric cars remind me of. Just saying.
Well, I mean, um, electric cars are very good if you are someone that just sticks around town. And if you're not just sticking around town, then you might want to map out charging stations on a trip so you know
Hmm.
where to go.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you get an electric car, Ronald, and then drive to Pine Bush.
Uh, First of all, I don't think it
We
would be as
wouldn't see you.
it would not be as comfortable as my big car I have now.
Uh,
And I can go
Debatable.
on a full tank of gas. I can go 400 miles,
Yeah.
right
On
around
a
there.
full charge,
Uh,
I think you can go maybe, I don't know, with a
it's
Tesla.
under 3 if you're lucky.
Yeah. But
And
I think but you need a charging station. And it's not as simple as pulling into a gas station and spending 8 minutes filling a tank. You got to
right,
spend an hour,
yeah, exactly.
to charge. So
Yeah.
this is why it's not practical. This is why we want that soda can fusion reactor that powers your car,
Or I'd
right?
like to find some way to have a really good solar panel that can charge it, and you have all four wheels charging
Yeah.
as you're driving. Remember the old bicycle generator? You put that
Yep.
on your wheel, you light up your headlight and your tail light, and you wouldn't have
Yep.
any trouble.
Yep.
And it would run forever as long as
Yeah.
you were pedaling.
I see
But
Ufi's got a question
yep,
here.
yeah.
What is the focus of my studies these days? I'm actually focused on bringing astronomy to the masses right now, and we have our SkyTour live stream, Sonoran Observatory in western Arizona in the desert, and we broke ground on our SkyTour live stream Benson, Arizona location, and that's going in. We're actually buying equipment as soon as this week, actually. And we're going to convert the Sonoran telescope to the same technology that the Benson telescope is going to use. So we can have the same way to control both telescopes. And that's very important. We want to make sure we have that consistency. And then here on this side of the United States, on the SkyTour East, we're going to make a solar observatory that we're going to be able to study the sun with and look at the sun. Now, as far as the things that can be done, a number of people in SkyTour are using all of our data that we have. We have years of data available for free on our server. Just go to skytourlive.org. Okay. And skytourlive.org will show you where to go to get the data. And when you get to the data, I know at least one of our members, Isabella in Bulgaria, has actually found asteroids that were in our data that were not seen before by others. And she also found stars that vanished.
Oh, wow.
Missing stars. Yeah. So why are they missing? We're not sure. Now, the asteroids might be known asteroids, but obscurely known. But it could also be that some of these asteroids that she's found might actually be asteroids that had been lost for a period of time. And then these imagery that she's capturing and or not capturing, but examining from our database might turn out to be maybe a capture of an asteroid that was missing.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was one I just saw a story about it. It has a moon running around it.
Yeah, well, there's some asteroids that are binary.
Okay.
And when they get really close, what happens is, what happens is when they get really close to each other, sometimes they might connect and touch each other.
And then you have that double thing, whatever, like.
Yeah, that's right. So they're like, you can have a binary asteroid, right? Or you can have a contact binary where they're touching.
Yeah.
And they're connected by the tiniest of little segments. And the reason that works is because asteroids also have a liberal coating of ice on them and within their soils. So if they happen to collide with each other, that collision, remember, these are massive objects crashing into each other, even if gently. And that gentle crash will melt some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it refreezes almost instantly, it's now glued the two halves together. And now you have this spinning contact binary, and only a collision with something else would possibly dislodge them again and make them separate again.
I could imagine the two rocks complaining to each other as they collide. It's like, oh, great, now we're stuck like this or whatever.
Yeah. Well, one of those that's like that is a contact binary called Ultima Thule. If you remember, New Horizons went out to Ultima Thule. It went to the Kuiper Belt and went right by Ultima Thule and discovered that there was this contact binary. Now, it looked like two rocks at first, like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it passed, we looked and noticed they were flat. So two pancakes end to end that bonded like that.
Wow.
And they're a little thicker. And that's Ultima Thule. Two thin wafers, like vanilla wafers, with a little extra thickness in the middle, had managed to contact each other and stick together. And that was the coolest find.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oofy asked. Oofy. What?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Oofy said, if we happen to be in Arizona, can we get a tour of the facility? That would have to be worked out, but right now the answer is no, and the reason for that is it's protected land, and so I actually have a lot of trouble getting on it myself sometimes. Okay.
Both locations are going to be protected, or just one?
Absolutely, everything's protected. Yeah.
Good.
No, I've got to have it that way.
Oh yeah, you got it with all the craziness.
Yep.
And not being personal with anybody or getting rude or anything like that. I'm just saying with the problems we're having with the just so much stuff going on, and you got to protect yourself. Yeah, exactly. And so I wouldn't know what else to do. Hey Charles, how you doing?
Hey Charles, I haven't talked to you in a long time. And he says, does the sun spin up asteroids? In what way, Charles? A little more detail on that. Just, I think I know what you mean, but I'll wait for you to answer that. No, okay, Ufi, that's fine. It never hurts to ask. I get it. Now, Sky Tour Benson would probably be a more likely site, but it's going to be tough because being on protected land means that we have to jump through hoops to get on it ourselves, and rightly so, because this is not our land. We're being allowed to be on this land to set up our systems, and so we want to make sure that we respect the landowners' requirements and the requirements of the protected land deal. So I don't think that we're gonna. I would love to give tours. The only way I can give a tour is if I actually go videotape it myself and provide it as I've done on Facebook and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
Did anyone ever guess how many bottle caps Tara
No
used?
one has ever got that answer.
Have we ever got close?
No one has ever gotten close.
Oh my goodness.
What
Yeah.
the what?
Man, oh man. And that's still going then? That's still ongoing, or did we forget that?
Well, we haven't forgotten it. It's just that no one's.
If somebody comes up with a number, then
People
they
have kind
can.
of lost interest in it.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's like
okay.
every time it's wrong. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Well,
It's not a big deal.
we need to get Tara in the interrogation room then and have her answer that question.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Be an episode of some kind of cop show or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
So,
Yep.
Mission Impossible style
so
comedy.
now on the solar telescope, now can you show that one more time for people that might not have seen it the first time?
Yeah. I mean, this is the solar telescope right here. This is an entry level hydrogen alpha telescope. Okay. It's made in the USA. Okay. This is the business end. What's inside here is the very, very important Etalon, which is a lens system that allows you to change the frequency that you're looking at by turning this little knob. Okay. Now, when I turn this into an observatory telescope, there's two things I have to automate. I have to automate this focus button down here. This is a focus that turns and creates focus. And then I have to automate a way to move this ring, which is all meant to be moved by hand. Everything's meant to be moved by hand. But this one shouldn't be hard. Okay. I can put something over the top here that will spin. It's a knurled knob, so I can attach to it and grab it. And then this one is a knurled ring, and I can actually put something on top here that will attach and spin this thing as necessary. So I'll be able to do this remotely. That's the whole idea. The idea is that all of these telescopes we create can be operated from anywhere in the world. And I got to have that capability. All right. So Charles says sunlight pressure has been theorized to slowly increase the rotation of some asteroids. I think Bennu is an example. Yeah, I mean, okay. From that perspective, yeah. The solar wind, okay, the solar wind will in fact cause some changes to the rotation rates. It's inevitable. In fact, we use solar wind to get the Kepler Space Telescope to get a whole second life as K2, because telescopes, and when I was working on a satellite project down in Gilbert, Arizona, I was in the clean room, all dressed up with my bunny suit on, and mask and the whole 9 yards. Okay, and I was taking pictures of a satellite because I was building an engineering model for the company for the satellite. And as I was looking at the satellite, on the satellite there are 4 round wheels, and they're at angles. So if the barrel of the satellite's like this, okay, you have 2 protrusions sticking out, and you have one wheel here, okay, and one wheel here at a different angle. Then you have one here, and then one here, okay, and they're kind of at odd angles to each other. And by spinning those at different rates, these are massive wheels, it induces what's called a torque, which could cause the telescope to move very precisely in certain directions. And these control wheels, there's 4 of them, and it only needs 3 to target something perfectly, and the 4th one is a backup. Well, Kepler lost a control wheel, and then they ended up using the 3 remaining to do the targeting, the precise targeting. But then it lost a second control wheel. Okay, it was up there for many years, so it was amazing it lasted that long. And that second control wheel now meant that the other two remaining control wheels couldn't allow the telescope to precisely move anymore. They're missing a whole axis of movement. So what do? They were very clever. They used solar wind, and they recalibrated the other two wheels, and they said, okay, these two wheels are expecting a certain force from this control wheel over here, but these control wheels are now dead. So we have to let this wheel receive less force and work in unison with this other control wheel set the same way. And then instead of a third or a fourth control wheel, which are missing, we're going to let the impact of the particles from the sun pushing on the body of the spacecraft determine the force. And we'll measure and set those other two control wheels to this force and allow them to all work together. So we'll have three axes of control again. And that's what they did. Extremely clever.
Wow.
And this was precisely why the K2 project worked as well as it did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know? Yeah. And so, the solar wind does actually affect things, and we used it to our advantage. So, would the solar wind spin asteroids? Yeah, especially the NEOs, the near Earth objects. It probably has a way to cause them to spin or change their spin. And again, the solar pressure on these things is going to, change things, but they have an orbit, and their orbit is based on a sum total of that pressure that they've always been feeling.
Yeah.
Lucy had a question.
Yeah, 2 questions.
Are there diffraction gratings on the solar telescope? No, there's no diffraction gratings. It's not needed because we're only looking at one tiny slice of the whole spectrum. We're just looking at one tiny hairline slice. And it's sort of a broad slice, and that knob that you turn, I was telling you about, the bigger knob, that allows you to move back and forth in that slice to get, see the flares and the sunspots to the prominences on the outside and anything in between. So that's kind of what that's doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's, you're not going to get we're not going to get a diffraction grading because it wouldn't be of any service for us. Can someone, and then she says, can one generate spectral analysis from scheduleive.org data? Actually, not really. And I'll tell you what you can do. You can take video or high quality video and run it through a program called RSpec. And RSpec will allow you to get the spectrum as long as the stars are in focus, and we do precisely focus.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of running a tutorial on this to show people how to do it. So you can get it after the fact, yes. I also have over here in my list of goodies and package of goodies, I have an actual spectrometer, which a spectroscope, which I would like to attach to a telescope, one of the two out there, and see if I can generate a spectrum of nebulae and things like that, because emission nebulae are emitting light, and what frequency we should be able to see it, and we should be able to capture that. And that's kind of what we want to do.
Now, on the solar telescope,
Yeah.
if you had a bigger scope, would that make any difference?
Oh, absolutely. A larger scope allows you to see a little bit more detail, and that's kind of important. All right.
So if I use my 8-inch Celestron that I have, and I have a solar filter on it, would that just be a large solar scope?
Not like this one. No, a hydrogen alpha telescope. You have to keep in mind that the lens on the end of that telescope that I have, it doesn't allow anything through except for the hydrogen alpha frequency. Okay, and that hydrogen alpha frequency coming through is only one tiny slice of an overall spectrum of extremely intense light. All right. So the inside of the telescope doesn't heat up. Okay. But you can get heating occurring if you have a solar telescope. And, let's say you have an eyepiece that has a hydrogen alpha filter in it, which they make. Daystar is the name of the company that will make such a thing. But you're also going to be letting in all the light into your telescope, all the sun's light, and it's going to all concentrate at that eyepiece. So if there's any plastic parts inside the telescope whatsoever, and there usually are, they will melt.
Mm-hmm.
They will
Now,
melt.
I do have a solar filter though that securely attaches to the
Yeah,
front of the scope.
if you make a full aperture solar filter, basically, these things,
Yeah,
but round and professionally made.
diameter of the scope. Yeah.
Yeah. Then yes, you could actually, look through your telescope and not worry about heating up too much.
Yeah, mine is from Celestron. Celestron solar filter, and
Okay.
it, like I said, it attaches to the end of the primary.
Where it attaches to the front of the telescope.
Yeah, and you just snap
It's
it
a
in.
full
You
aperture.
turn it and snap it in. Yeah,
It's a full aperture filter.
yeah, and
Yeah, that's good.
so it came with the scope. That was one of the things I got for free for the price that I paid for this.
Yeah.
So not a bad deal. Now I'm
Not a
trying to
bad
figure
deal.
out, can I I got a replacement battery for that thing, right? I never did find out if I have to take apart that orange ring on top, or can I just loosen that up and turn the cover up and then put in the new battery.
I don't know.
And
I do not know the answer.
I certainly wouldn't want to have to take it all apart and have to worry about realigning the gears again for the. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah. So
I get it.
that's what I'm trying to. That's why I haven't done anything with that yet, because I don't want to do that and take it all apart and say, "Oh, now how do I align these clock drive now?"
Yeah.
And it's not very clear as far as what I can tell. And Michael was going to help me figure that out, but he's been too busy doing other things. So
Okay.
no big deal. I'm not worried about that. But he was going to help me try to figure that one out.
Michael.
Yeah, Calabos.
Who?
Calabos.
Oh, Calabos. Right. Okay.
Yeah, he was going to help me understand that by trying to figure out the answer.
Okay.
So, but he hasn't gotten to it yet. So, but I would just like to make sure that if I can loosen it and just turn the cover to where I can get that battery in there, just change it out,
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to misalign the clock drive on the, on the arm, on the arm part.
Oh, I get it. I get you.
Because that would certainly destroy the, tracking mechanism. But now they have a new battery now. Apparently, the newer models have the better battery style where it doesn't lose a charge if it's sitting. It has the different type of battery where it holds the charge longer.
Yeah.
So the older batteries, they tend to not hold the charge. And I have the replacement battery. I haven't charged it up yet or anything like that, so it doesn't have a charge. It's still like it's on the shelf, So
Okay.
it's not like I haven't wasted it and just haven't been charged yet, and I haven't tried to use it yet.
Sure.
So, but again, I want to make sure I get that done correctly without damaging the drive. Otherwise, I just got to buy a new arm, and that's another, few $100.
Another too much money. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd rather do it right and not have to worry about sending it back to the shop to get it repaired or whatever. And I know I probably send it to Starzona and let them fix it if they need to. But
they're very good. Starzona is a wonderful group of people.
Now, if I was living there like I'd want to do, then I'd be close to them and I'd be right there.
Yeah.
No, I do. I am considering winter is getting too hard on me.
Trust me, I agree.
I've been here. You know how long I've been here in Minnesota? Do you know how many years?
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
I've been here for 24 years.
Yeah.
So
well,
June it'll be
warm
24.
weather is so much better for you health-wise.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, would you like? Would you
I
like
don't
me?
mind. I don't mind driving, extra time either. If I'm going to Pine Bluff from Arizona, I just have
Yeah,
to drive longer.
yeah.
But I wouldn't have the winters to worry about.
Hmm.
And
So the
I'll even deal with scorpions and snakes and spiders and all kinds of
yeah,
fun stuff. But I ain't gonna have no snow.
yeah.
So that's the
Hey, would you
thing.
like me to show you the all sky camera?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
And
let me add
Uki
that
has
in
one
for you.
question too.
I saw that. Okay. Yeah, this is the live view from the observatory right now. This is the western horizon, so the sun is still setting, and even with the sun setting, you can see all these many stars. The telescope or the camera on the system is very sensitive. You can't even see this with your eye, but this is Phoenix, 80 miles away.
Wow.
Okay. And these are clouds that happen to be up there right now. Um, can you see Orion right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if
Yep.
you're having
Yep.
trouble, then all you have to do is come over here and hit that.
I can
And
see it though.
so
But yeah, zoom in.
we
Oh,
actually can show you that. We can put the constellations up.
cool.
And if you want to see things in the constellations of Orion, then if you like hover over like M45, okay, that's the Pleiades. All right. And
Wow.
you click on that and it takes you to Wiki Sky, which will show you the Pleiades and what you're looking at in here.
Is that available for us to use on our own?
No, this
Or
is our all sky camera. This is the live view from our all sky camera. We actually have it set up so that people can actually come in here and when I get it its own website, which I'm just about to, people are going to be able to come on here and just go exploring. And if you want, you can like zoom in and move around on the screen to see where things are. Okay, which is really
yeah.
cool. You know, look, you can see the Orion Nebula right
Yep.
Mhm.
there.
Yep.
Okay,
Now,
here
how?
is
Now,
Aldebaran
what are
and Hyades. There's the Pleiades.
they? Mhm.
What's that, Bobby?
Yeah. So, from where the observatory is located, how's that from Phoenix?
Say that again.
How far is Phoenix from that out observatory?
Oh yeah, I just mentioned it. It's about 80 miles.
80 miles, and you can see it from the outside.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing the lights that are up
The
in the
city lights.
sky here. These lights are visible from 100 miles away. But if you have a sensitive camera like we do, well, you can see the clouds just move. So here you can see the lights up there. Now I can change a lot of parameters here, a bunch of parameters, in fact. But here's the north, south, east, and west. Okay. Right now, this gives you the moon data. You can't really read it, but it says moon elevation minus 52.39,
Mm-hmm.
moon illumination 10.2%. And it shows you sunrise, sunset, sun elevation, and sun azimuth. And then you have the time of this exposure, the date of the exposure, how long, how sensitive we have the chip set to. Right now, it's set to 250 out of 300. And then it tells you the temperature on the sensor is 79 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then
Now, people want
when
to know,
you have it set up on the website, then people will be able to use it basically on
yeah,
their own.
they could do everything I'm showing you right now. That's the idea.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Oh, but that's not all. If that's
Okay.
where it ended, that would be okay. But
But now,
so you can see the constellations, but there's something else you can do, Ronald.
Okay.
You go to the next line, and now you come to the time lapse images from all the nights.
Oh,
So here is
that's
the
right. You were
fourth.
showing me that before. Yeah.
This is last night's image or set. Okay. Now here's the sun. All right, and we'll just zoom through. This is the day. So these are the clouds passing over during the day. Okay.
And
As the
there's your
sun comes
TikTok short right there. Your TikTok short.
I know, right? And then if we can just jump ahead a little bit, we get down to nighttime, and then you'll see what happens at night. Okay, so at night it really is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I like that. Now, can you show the
here it comes.
people what the unit
Here we
looks
go.
like when you put it together?
Yeah, I will.
And
So
that
there
way
you
you
go.
kind of
So
understand what we're talking about here.
there's the constellations rolling through. Some clouds came through, and this is last night. Like I said, that's a bird turd, by the way.
Gotta
I
love
posted
those
on
guys.
Facebook the bird that actually did it. I
Yeah.
caught him from below, looking up his butt as he was doing that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Well, they just figured, hey, a new object here. Let's make it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna put an anti-bird thing out there. It's gonna be like a little mylar child's pinwheel. It's gonna blow in the
Yeah.
wind right next to the camera.
Scare them a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
it'll keep them away. You know.
Okay, cool.
Imagine getting bird bomb.
Man, that turned out good
That
though.
happened to me before.
Now on the glass. Okay, now how do you keep it from being affected with the heat, like being humid, like humidity build up?
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a good question because if you have a glass dome that's enclosed out there, if you have any water in there whatsoever, it's going to end up forming condensation on the inside of the dome of this glass. So I realized that, and when I went out there 3 weeks ago, I opened up the camera, cleaned it out. I realized I had water in there. So the camera is now hermetically sealed. I sealed it, but I put what's called a cover gas in there. I sprayed in just nitrogen gas. Okay, just nitrogen, not air, not water vapor, but dry nitrogen gas. And you know the canned air that you buy to spray your computer with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of those are just nitrogen. And so just nitrogen is the biggest component of our air. So I ended up taking one of those and spraying it in here, spraying it into the dome, and then sealing it with the O-ring seal and the watertight seals right away. But I also put a desiccant in there to absorb any leftover water. So the leftover water was absorbed by the desiccant, and it's rained out there several times. And this dome was just covered, just covered with water. Yet none of it got inside, and it all dried off without any ill effect other than the bird poop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
actually
cool.
me writing this one.
And Bobby
Yeah.
put that one up there.
Yeah, you see that.
All right. So let me see the box that you put together. The pieces you made it with, and I mean it looks like just something you got out of your garage with parts.
Oh no, it's actually it's
I didn't
not.
mean that in a bad way. I meant that
No, I got you. I got you. Let me
you recycled parts to make this,
yeah.
And that doesn't mean a bad thing. I mean that's a good thing.
No. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll grab it right now. One of the things that's interesting is that this was a very simple build, and I'm using.
I want them to see it.
I'm gonna find it. So hold your horses, man. Don't be impatient.
It's just amazing how you. And then you're gonna help Bill with getting one.
I know. I told him he would, as long as he can pony up the money for the parts, I'm gonna make it for him.
That's right.
I'll do that for anybody actually, because it's really a cool thing to have. I actually caught something, which I'm going to show you, that has no explanation, and that was last night.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm going to show that too as well. First things first. Let me
someone
go.
picking their nose or something. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And you see, you spoil all the.
That's my habit.
You ruin everything, Ronald. Why'd you give it away?
No, I meant like on your all sky camera. Someone picking their nose.
No, not at all. Not at all. But let's see. Let me see
It's
here.
like watching my friend Ed Marvin on Tuesday night, and he had his granddaughter in the shows to say hello to everyone.
Oh, very
and
cool.
she was like maybe 5 years old, or maybe somewhere around there.
Okay.
And I don't know that she meant to flip off the crowd as she was leaving, but somehow she showed the middle finger as she was leaving, and it was so funny.
That's not good.
And Ed yelled at her for it, but she was like saying, "I didn't do nothing. I didn't think we should."
Yeah.
but everyone in chat was like laughing.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, yeah. If you got
Well,
a
there,
window
that's a nice
focus,
telescope.
it's only going to focus on the window. If you would do like a full screen focus, it would be able to show the whole thing.
So you said on that scope there, you changed the mount on that.
I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to.
To make
First
it
of
work
all,
together, right?
yeah. To show you the camera, I'm gonna have to stop screen sharing and just do a.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
have to
sorry, I
just.
distracted you with the other question on the mount.
No, that's fair enough. You didn't. It's okay.
That
I
was an
have to.
afterthought. It just popped in my head when I saw that, and I said, "Wait a minute,
Yeah. I know. You're okay. Don't worry. Do not panic. All is fine. Do not take control of your television.
that's right."
Okay, here we go. Okay, so here is the
Oh, hold on.
yeah.
Here we go.
I don't have any control put in. There is the camera on its mount.
That
Okay,
sees a lot of the sky for that little dome.
that's right.
Man.
That's right. Whoops. Sorry. Let me just go back here.
Hey Jenny, can you use that for ghost hunting? Not this telescope, but that little camera.
Well, I'll show you better pictures. All right. Here is the Sky Tour Sonoran setup right now. Okay, and there's another view of it. And I don't know who that guy is. Yeah, I was cleaning out the box and getting rid of the water vapor in there. So there is the camera on the end of the arm. That's me putting it up. Marianne is taking all the photos. That's our STLS Jeep.
Yeah.
Actually, it belongs to Marianne. She just got the STLS license plate.
Oh, that's nice.
And she won't give it to me now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so trying to get this all done. Here it is again. There is the camera at the end of the building. You can see the house in the distance. That's the old camera that we used to have. Okay. And I removed that and the cable, all that. That's actually back in Mesa, Arizona in a closet right now. Here is, I was doing a calibration. I was doing what's called a dark frame. And that's more work on the camera. There's a little better view. That's the top of the roof. And there's the camera.
Yeah. So if you to buy something like that,
you're going to spend $3,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I built it for $600.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. I bought the dome. Okay. I bought the camera. Right. Camera, $279. The box, the waterproof box, $16.99. The dome, $4.99. I made the gasket material myself here out of a rubber sheet that you can buy at Home Depot for $4. And on the inside, which I might have photos of the inside, maybe not.
I thought you did.
I did from before, but I don't know where they are. And this is driving out.
And that was you driving on your side when you got all wet.
No, she was driving. I was just doing all this.
Oh, she should have went through the other side.
Yeah. Take off the words. So we can read.
We were just looking at the color. Like
See,
the
so
color.
it had rained. So obviously we're nailing. Now, just imagine that. Drive that for 14 miles.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Imagine driving that all the way to Pine Bush.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
that's
boy.
It. Yeah. 14 miles that fast.
No, man.
So once you drive an hour and a half,
and
okay,
if you
then
go
you gotta
any
go
faster, then you're even with
no.
drive.
You there's deep ruts, there's arroyos, washes, right? And
Yeah,
you gotta worry about water that might be crossing the road in some places.
Yeah.
Can't believe
Yeah.
you got all these potholes you gotta cover.
Yeah.
Down
There's
through.
plenty of
And it's not
potholes.
maintained. It's not maintained by the state or nothing.
And here's the culprit that pooped on my
Oh.
on my camera. Okay, this guy.
Oh,
What kind of bird is that then?
It's
That's
just a
the
little
back end of
sparrow.
them.
It's just a sparrow.
Okay.
But see, that's where the poop is. He left and he
We
left the
got
poop
ya.
behind.
We got your DNA there, bird.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
now we just
Yeah.
gotta find it and arrest it.
What's that?
Now we just gotta find it and place him under arrest.
Exactly.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
so-
weird though? How you can use that DNA though several years later, you can find out who it is? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I can't find the pictures of the interior of this camera box, but that's okay.
But you have the camera, you have the power supply.
Yeah, actually, the power supply is a little interesting, because the Raspberry Pi is what controls it. Okay, and it's a little mini computer, microcomputer actually inside the box, and the Raspberry Pi needs 5 volts. Okay, because that's a computer circuit basically, and the 5 volts that it needs has to be 5 volts. It can't be 4.9, 4.8. It's got to be 5. So I originally had 2 cables, a power cable going out to it and an Ethernet cable, the computer, the network cable, so it could attach it to the internet. Okay. Well, it turned out that the voltage reaching the box was low because over the 16 feet I required from the computer to the box, it didn't have enough power. So by not having enough power, it meant that I had to figure out how to get that power to the box. So what I did was I went a whole different route. I took out the 2 cables from the box, and now I only have 1 cable going into the box, and it's the Ethernet cable. But on that Ethernet cable, I actually inject power into the Ethernet cable after the computer and out into the box. The Ethernet cable that comes in is all the data stuff to put it on the internet and also the voltage for the Pi. So in the box, I put a splitter that takes the power back off of that Ethernet cable. 5 volts goes to the Pi, and then the data in the Ethernet cable goes to the Pi. And that I can run for 300 feet and get maximum power. So it's called Power over Ethernet, PoE, PoE.
Okay.
So I did that because that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
An astro pooper.
Very rare.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So that's how I got power to the box. And that was actually really important to get power to the box, especially for what we saw. Now I want to show you the image. You saw the birdie image, but you didn't see the
object
image.
you saw.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you that right now because that was
So
actually
Jenny, what I was asking Jenny about is that if she can use something like this camera in one of her permanent locations where she investigates and just have it set up for paranormal activity.
yeah, that's a great
and
idea.
just have it recording and documenting any activity that happens.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
And then have it connected to the internet, and of course,
Yep.
they
Okay,
might turn it off. The ghost might turn it off,
Yeah.
But I mean, there is things happening that we can't understand or explain.
I understand.
All right,
You're absolutely right. All right,
we
so
don't have to agree with it or like it or.
throw that up there.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so
What is that?
okay, now keep in mind that we all see satellites going over.
Right,
Okay.
that's different.
This is not the same. I mean, it is and it isn't. Okay, when the ISS goes over, it could be this bright, right? But look at the time. You can't see the time, but I'm gonna zoom in on this and so you can see that.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
12:38 and 40 seconds. In other words, the sun is on exactly the opposite side of the earth. All right. And when that's true, you should not see satellites,
Mm.
especially satellites in low Earth orbit like the ISS or the Tiangong. Okay. This is a 20-second exposure. That's what this number is here, 20 seconds long. So in 20 seconds, it went that far. Why is that bright when there's no sunlight there to illuminate it?
Man, that's good. Hi, Yolanda.
And
Yeah.
then here, it made a flare. Why is that going on? And it's going from here to here. It crossed the entire sky.
Wow.
The first 20 seconds, it went to here. The second 20 seconds here. The third to here. The fourth to there.
So how fast would that be moving?
Well, based on, we have to know the distance to it to be able to calculate the movement speed. But this right here, if we zoom in on this, this is a very strange looking trail to me. It is not an aircraft. It's not an aircraft.
Okay.
Okay.
It won't be Starlink, huh?
No, absolutely not. Because if it was Starlink satellites are only ever about magnitude 3. This right here, this thing here, right there, that spot, brighter than anything in the sky. Okay. Now, if you want to think about a meteor or a bolide, let's define a bolide. A bolide is a meteor that comes into the atmosphere and explodes. This looks like it could be a bolide from this one frame.
Okay.
The problem is this. This, unfortunately, when we're talking about this being a potential meteor or bolide, this is a 20-second exposure. You wouldn't see, you might see this flash and say the first second, right? Now, how about this? This was here in the first 20 seconds. It was a path from here to here. Then it was here. Then it was here. Then it was there. So 20, 40, 60, 80 seconds it took to pass and go horizon to horizon. Meteors happen very, very quickly. Even the slowest one would go only about 12 seconds to 15 seconds to cross the sky. This is 80 seconds.
Wow.
This is not a meteor of any kind. I don't know what it was. It went all the way horizon to horizon.
So that would be
It's on video. You can see it go through on video too.
This would be what we used to call a UFO, right?
Yeah, and I don't understand. See, again, the time is the most important thing. 12:38 at night. Okay. And Charles, I'm going to answer that in a second. So if you think about it, at 12:38 at night, again, the sun is directly behind us. So from we're looking straight up, it's behind us into the ground, all the way on the other side of the planet. It's not available to illuminate anything up in orbit. All right. Now, the far distant things like geostationary satellites, well, those can still see the sun out there potentially. And, we've captured them all night long, but they're little tiny trails and they're extremely faint. And they're never, ever, ever this long in 20 seconds. In 20 seconds, they're actually about as long as, I can't even show it on here. Okay. They would only be as long as about half the width of the arrowhead you see on the screen there at the most. And that's actually probably 4 times as large as they would be. You can't actually see a 20-second geostationary satellite movement. Okay, so I don't know what this is.
Now, from that, how can you tell the properties of that light? For instance, spectrometer, however you want to say it.
Yeah, the spectrometer. Well, this is an emission of light. So as an emission, if I could grab this object in our spec, I could probably figure out the composition of the light and see what it is.
Yeah, that's me right there.
Yeah. No kidding.
So then, in your humble opinion, as what you investigate these pictures,
Yeah,
what would you classify this as? Unknown.
it's an unknown,
Okay.
and I don't know what else to say other than it is a true unknown. I don't know what could cause this thing to light up like this. No, here's the thing. When it was over here, you got to remember, we're looking at it down near the horizon. This is the horizon. This is the horizon on either side here.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it down here, it's coming at you. Then it's going over us here. Then it's heading away from us here into the distance. It was present across the entire sky. So you say, as Charles said, is it maybe a space plane re-entering? Well, if it was a space plane re-entering, maybe we would see it across the sky, but I don't understand what this flare would be. I thought, is it a boost back burn from a Falcon 9? If it was, we would not see it like this, I don't
Yeah.
believe. But I'll be interested to find some more data on this to find out if, because it's something that's giving off its own light. That's
Yeah.
that's key.
Yeah, it's not reflection. Yeah.
And it's got to be, it's either going to be a Falcon 9 or it's going to be a military project. But again, and the key reason I say that is because of the following fact. The time right there on the timestamp tells you the truth. It's 12. All right. It's 00:38:40. So 12:38:40 in the morning. Right. As
Yeah.
close to midnight as you can get. The sun is exactly in behind you in this image, exactly behind you through the earth and the other side of the earth. There's nothing to illuminate it. So this now, here's the thing though. The boost back burn on the Falcon 9 doesn't go horizon to horizon. Okay. You're not going to see that. And it doesn't take 80 seconds. The boost back burn for the Falcon 9 is only about 20 seconds, which is about the length of one of these. So if this showed up in one place, oh, that could be a boost back burn. But it's showing up at the beginning here, comes across, goes all the way across, and continues all the way to the horizon here where it goes out of sight.
Okay,
So,
where's that video of it you had?
well, I do have the video. I can. Let's see. This is 12:38 and 40 seconds. Let me go to my downloads and I'll actually show it to you.
All right. That's interesting. That needs to be available for people to evaluate that.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I agree. There's something.
That's curious with everything you're explaining about why we shouldn't see it, and yet there it is.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that studies this stuff, and you have the answers, and yet we have no answer here.
Yeah, I certainly don't have an answer for this one.
For those who don't know who MARC is, he is the chief video and photo analyst for MUFON. So he should know this.
Well, yeah, and I'm an astronomer too, so
yeah.
So I should know. I mean, I've taken every bad picture that a camera can take.
And I'm not saying anything against what you do know, but how do you explain something that you don't know how to explain it? And you're trying to prove to someone that something is real.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do you, like when you first started hunting for planets that aren't there, exoplanets,
Yeah.
that aren't there, but yet here you are spending this time to look for them.
Actually, yeah, exoplanets are my specialty in astronomy. That's like
and
when
all of a sudden,
when I got my degree in astronomy, I actually spent a lot of time trying to figure out more details about exoplanets. Yes.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden they're finding more than they ever dreamed of.
That's correct.
And it's like, holy cow, this guy MARC was right.
And they're not going to stop either.
And let's see, how long have we known each other, MARC?
About 30 minutes.
No. Yeah, right. No, I've known you longer than Pine Bush. Now, this is my 8th year going this year.
Yeah, no, we've known each other.
And I've known you on YouTube Yeah,
9 years, 10 years.
9
now.
or 10 years. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, and I really and nothing has changed. I mean, I know the new things I know, but I don't know the things that I don't know.
Yeah,
And I
and you
don't
tell people
pretend to.
you don't have the answer. You don't try
No,
to
if you don't have the answer, you don't have the answer, and I'm
you don't
okay
try
with
to
that.
make things up. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm totally okay with that.
you try to evaluate with everything you know and what you have, and
That's
then
right.
if you can get the right evaluation, then that's the answer.
Yeah, I know where this is now. I gotta go and I know exactly where this thing is
So
now.
talk about your start and why you got into astronomy.
No, I'm not gonna talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
Nobody knows about that. Nobody heard that story before. None of my people heard that story before, except maybe Charles.
Well, let me go to his question. He says that taper in brightness and taper back down makes me think of heating and cooling. Japanese asteroid sample return scheduled. Um, all good questions, Charles. I don't know. But it's all good questions. All right.
Yolanda.
All right, let me open this and see if this is going to be good for us to use. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can. Well, maybe I can do this. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because I don't want to share screens with you anymore. I'm just kidding. Let me. And in fact, I see satellites all the time with this camera now, and I'm going to show you.
Never
gonna show
fails
you.
today. Never fails today.
What? Never what?
Moon even real. Ah, come on, you know the moon is real.
The moon landing is real. Yeah.
Oh yes, moon landing was of course real. We're at the university. My university. We participated in the lunar landings. We actually built the experiment that allows you to shine a laser at the moon and get its distance instantly. That's called the lunar ranging and retroreflector array. And it was actually quite
Jenny.
good.
She liked
Yeah,
the
that's
camera.
good.
Too.
That's good. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just do this now. Let me present one more time.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
Jenny does. She
Yeah, we
has
got
a
some great comments. We got some great comments, by the way. That
yeah.
you're listening,
Yeah, Bobby. Hold on. Yeah, so Jenny does a show called Ghosts of Somerville,
Okay.
and she does paranormal research of historic buildings in Somerville,
Okay.
New Jersey, of
Cool.
course. And so that's why I mentioned she can have a camera set up at some of her historic buildings if they would
Yeah.
allow it, you
Yeah.
know, and just have it
You
sitting
just
there.
saw the bird there, by
Yeah,
the way.
she just have it
Okay.
sitting there and catching whatever
Now
she
you're going to
wants.
see lots of insects. You're going to see satellites
Yeah,
going over. This is the night of the 3rd. Okay. And so I can start and stop it with a click. And right now it's at 10 o'clock and heading to 11 o'clock in our view here. You can barely see that. So there goes a satellite.
huh? Okay, that's different.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is time lapse. Remember, these are 20-second exposures. Okay. So, all right. So there was one that went over right there. You saw that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. There it is right there. All right. And that,
Okay.
all right. So now you saw that, right?
What is that?
Well, of course, that was it. That was this object. Okay. So it starts here. Okay. And it goes, you can see it right there. Very,
Yeah.
very bright. And it's
Yeah.
that bright all the way across. It flares here and continues here. All right. And I wish I could put this particular.
Would it be a light source like a laser of some sort?
No, because this is, if it was a laser, it'd be continuous across the whole screen. We would see it there.
Not in the second burst. Yeah, not in the structured burst.
Right. let's try. Let's play it at half speed. Oh, it's gonna do the whole thing. Okay, let's. I'll have to. I'm gonna be playing it at half speed, so I gotta
All right.
jump ahead here. All right, let's see. Is this the one? Yes. All right. So this is daytime again. Why will it not allow me to jump ahead?
Doing it.
You should have full power to change that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's I don't know why it does that. Playing at half speed, it does that. Okay, how about if I go to 1.2 times the speed? Can you still see it? Can you still see it?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, we can still see it.
All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna do this and jump ahead, and I'm gonna
There's our bed there.
drop it down to 0.5. Why, when I drop it to 0.5, it goes like elsewhere? Why is it doing that?
It doesn't want you to do it. That's weird.
Yeah, it's
Is it the
that's
program?
crazy.
Is StreamYard program causing trouble? Or
It might be. It's probably your fault.
yeah, all my fault.
Uh,
Damn it! Can't take me anywhere.
we
just
can, we can, but no one wants to go with you because you ruin everything.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh,
Right. Now, I was able to do this before, so I don't know why. All right. Well, anyway, so you'll see in this view, you got meteors, you got satellites all over the place.
Yeah,
Okay.
they look
And
totally different.
Huh?
They look different than what you're looking at here.
yeah, but they look just like meteors and satellites.
Yeah, and they're in a line where they're supposed to be.
See, like that was another.
Yeah.
That was a satellite that just passed by. Okay. And let's go now to here it comes. It's coming up. All right. All right. Let's see if we can do this. All right. I'm going to just go this way now. Here it comes.
There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Wow.
See that? All the way across the sky. Now that.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, 20-second exposure.
Yeah.
And there it is over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, that's like warp speed.
Well, remember, Bobby, what's going on? Okay, it's you're watching it come in 20-second intervals, so it takes 80 seconds. So it goes 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 60 seconds, 80 seconds, and then maybe one more tiny one for down here. Okay, and as it's going away from you, that path is compressed into a smaller looking line, but you're seeing it foreshortened. Okay. Well, here, watch it at full speed now. Okay, zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Wow.
it didn't accelerate. It just actually, because it's
Oh.
coming toward you, it's foreshortened along the path. And then as it gets over you, that's the fastest it'll appear to go. Then as it goes away, it'll look like it's slowing down.
The Enterprise.
It's not slowing down.
No, it's the Enterprise.
There you go.
See, that's when they came and
So-
visited Earth.
So it'll be slower than that in real time, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
gonna take,
that's what I'm thinking.
it takes 80 seconds to get through here. So there's
That's incredible.
there's the frame I caught. Okay. And there's the second to the last frame. And it's just barely there. So it maybe, it was probably more like I would say 400 seconds and overall, if you add it all up together.
And I thought I was talented getting a video of my trash man today. Huh.
You're very, very talented there, Ronald. That's extremely talented. Yeah, but that's how fast it goes. All right, I didn't know what it was. Now there are airplanes that come through, but they have the FAA lighting on them. You can see
Right.
that. All right.
And they wouldn't be moving at that speed.
Oh, well, in 20 seconds they don't. You might see them travel across the screen. So I don't get what the deal is. Okay, here's the summer Milky Way coming up, and here's the moon rising.
Yeah.
The moon is very close to the sun. And if you look here, the sun is now 18 degrees below the horizon, and the moon is 8 degrees up. So it's not quite new moon yet. Right. So with the summer Milky Way is right there. That's looking beautiful.
Yeah, now, Amanda did have a question about that hybrid
Eclipse.
solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Is there a way to predict it? You know, like we can pretty much predict any eclipse, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we sure
and we can predict when Haley's comet is going to come back, right?
Of course.
Haley's, whatever you want to say that.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know what that noise was. Boy, that was weird.
Well, we had an earthquake here today, actually.
Yeah, I know. Jimmy Fallon was just making a joke about it.
Yeah.
Anything to make a joke about, that's funny.
Yeah.
We got
Oh, boy.
it's a Jedi coming through. It's like, what? It's like, see, I could do live long and prosper, or may the force be with you. You know,
Funny, Ufi asked a question about installing a remote dome washer. You know, I actually thought about that, Ufi. I designed one that's like a windshield wiper, but curved. And I can make the armature on my STL printer, which is right there. You can't see it. Well, maybe you can if I do that. There's the STL printer right there. And that makes extremely accurate models. So I can actually make the armature of a dome washer. Okay. And that would really be pretty cool if I could make the dome washer. So I'm thinking about it. But I have to go like this. I have to go and do it until, you know.
And then you're lucky when you get stuck right on top.
Times.
You get stuck right on top.
Nah. Nah. It's a very nice dome. So, I mean, I could do that. And I thought about it. And so it would actually have to squirt water. And it would also have to be able to, you know, do the squeegee thing too.
Yeah.
So you need one to apply the water on the way out, and on the way back, the squeegee. And then you apply the water and then squeegee, apply the water and then squeegee. And it's not a hard thing to do, actually. I could write the software to do that in an afternoon. And installing the hardware means I got to get the box, take it down. I installed a removable waterproof connector too, so that right at the box I can disconnect the whole thing and take the whole box down. And that's pretty
Or you
cool.
can just have a guy with the spray bottle and a little towel.
Well, when Marianne and Tara go out there, one of the duties of the maintenance approach is to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Keegan? By the way,
Keegan is a ham radio friend of Bobby's.
Okay.
yeah.
Some people are into that ham radio stuff as much as you are into the astronomy.
Well,
Yeah.
at one point I was going to get my technician license.
Yeah.
For ham radio, because I wanted to do 2-meter band work, but I didn't, only because I didn't have the time. And at the time, I had to study Morse code. Now it's not even on the test anymore. Now you don't have to worry about Morse code anymore. So that's fine. You know.
Well, I was thinking that if we ever get to the point where we need to use ham radio, do we need to have a license at that point?
I don't know. I would probably guess that
it wouldn't make any difference. There wouldn't be nobody to check it. That's for sure.
I don't know. I think you might need to still do that.
Now, speaking of radios, the eclipse that's coming up, will it do something to radio propagation?
Ooh.
Possibly. You know, it depends Um, it depends what. I'll give you an example. Okay, when the moon's shadow is passing over the United States, the solar wind isn't reaching us in the same way. Okay, so maybe it could make things different, maybe, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, there ain't gonna be no Nibiru coming. A lot of people think that.
no, the Bureau's a farce. That's just
X Planet X or whatever you want to call it.
that's the silly stuff people.
And then,
See the thing. All it takes is one person on the internet in YouTube to make up a story, and
I like some
listen.
of these people that they talk about the prediction things.
Yeah.
They predicted things. Like last year, talking about this what's going to happen this year, and then of course the solar eclipse. Everything's going to happen. It's all going to fall apart.
Yeah, and then when nothing happens, you never hear from them anymore.
Right. And they can't really argue with them, and they can't really.
Well, they don't present themselves to argue with you again.
Right.
So here's the thing. Okay, I know that sounds harsh what I say, but the bottom line is that, look, I'm a professional astronomer. Okay, I know what's up in the sky. I know how gravity works, even though we don't know a whole lot about gravity. We know what it affects and how it affects things. And so one of the things is when someone makes these statements like a planet 26 million light years away from us, okay, coming toward the Earth is causing earthquakes because of its gravity and its magnetic influence. That's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing statement to make. It shows the true ignorance that some of these people who make those statements might actually have, because they don't understand how gravity works. They don't understand how magnetism works. And so they don't even realize that you can't have something like that affecting our planet with its own field without itself making itself evident to every other planet in the solar system. If you had a mass that big coming into our solar system, all right, let's say it's 100 million, light year, 100 million miles away. Okay, the planet Jupiter would be affected by it. Uranus, Neptune, Mars, especially the Earth, Mercury and Venus, their orbits, everything would be perturbed a tiny little bit. And it's like we're studying all these planets every single moment of the day. If Mars starts to change its orbit, we're going to know like that. None of that happens. Jupiter changes its orbit, we'll know like that. None of this has happened. None of this has happened ever since they've been saying that thing is out there. Well, if it's out there, it ain't coming here. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
Okay. It's in a stable orbit if it's out there. Yeah, we think there might be some larger objects out in the Kuiper Belt. Okay. Maybe out in the Oort Belt. Okay. See, we have an Oort cloud and we have an Oort belt. Okay. The Kuiper Belt is what's out beyond Pluto. It's a disc-shaped belt of material out there. And then beyond that might be a belt of farther cometary type objects called the Oort belt. And then surrounding our whole solar system is a spherical collection of icy bodies that we call the Oort cloud. And overall, the diameter of that Oort cloud could reach literally halfway toward Alpha Centauri or more. So our solar system might be a tremendously larger object than we realize. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
But either way, we know there might be some bigger objects out there that we can't really see yet, but they're not creating any problems for us.
So what was the magnitude of that earthquake today in New York?
4.8.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Oh yeah, but you already got people saying, "Oh, April 8th, 4.8. It's the same." No, it wasn't the same.
I told this story earlier today on my chatter show. I have a show I use ghost hunting apps with,
I know. I hear it.
They all talk to each other. And funny thing today though, as I turned it on, I have speakers going on the desktop computer, so here in the house they can all talk to each other, And so it's like if you walked into my house when nobody's here and you hear voices talking like someone's here, you know, it
Yeah.
stopped. Like, wait a minute, someone's here. Pretty funny, but even if you know it, it's still pretty funny when you step in and you hear people talking. Like, wait a minute, and so anyway,
That is funny.
It said a guy's name that I know, and like, how did he know? How did they know his name? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And so I got to find out some information before I start talking about that. But anyway, um, as I'm running this, so and what was I going to say now? Now I
You
lost
lost your train of thought.
I got transferred to the other planet. See, I got the parallel planets. You got that too.
Yeah.
And they're flat too. They're flat, all just like this one. And I like that one meme, talking about flat Earth. If the
Yeah.
if the Earth was flat, the cat would have all the
Pushed
stuff
everything
knocked
off by now. Yeah.
off. That's
Yeah,
one of my favorite ones.
would be ruin the road world.
Yeah. I mean, that's, these flat earthers are just, look, I don't have any patience for them. And if, I'll be honest, if someone sincerely doesn't know what to believe, I have a great deal of respect for someone who can say, I just don't understand it. Is it flat? Is it a sphere? Some people just haven't had the 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 educational opportunity to learn about science, and so I do not get angry with someone or upset with someone who asks an honest question. But the rest of the world, the rest of the people that try to say the earth is flat, they're flat tards.
Hmm.
Okay. And these flat tards are the reason that some people are confused about the truth, and they take advantage of that. So I rail against them. I am very angry with them, and I can defeat them every time they try to talk and say the earth is flat. I
Yeah.
can defeat them with every single point with data, not just, talking.
Oh,
So,
I can tell them I went to Australia in 1981, and
and go ahead,
and
say it.
it's not flat,
Right.
but it is an oval or spherical shaped planet, if you will. It's not flat like a coin. During the eclipse, what what is that about?
Wait, you're making a point. Finish your
Yeah.
point.
So anyway, if it was flat, obviously we would have gone off the edge, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they believed in the old days. That's what they believed, but they figured out that was wrong.
yeah. Here's the
So,
thing, if you can defeat a flat earther right away, um, because they have to start relying on really funky constructs. Okay. You tell them, go to Australia. Let's use Australia. Go to Australia. All right. What's Orion look like from Australia? It's upside down from
yeah.
what we see in the Northern Hemisphere.
All the theories about Aussie land is like crazy. Oh yes, just out of my curiosity. Earlier this morning, the northeastern part of the states suffered a 4.7 magnitude earthquake.
Right.
Was you by any chance caught some of the effects or no?
I felt the earthquake. I mean, I felt this deep rumble under my feet, and I knew it was an earthquake right away. I could feel there's P waves and S waves with an earthquake, and I could feel these waves. Okay. And I think it was the S waves that I actually felt, and they were going like this. Okay. And you could really feel them, and it lasted about 10 seconds. Uh, and it felt like a big truck going down the street. Okay. Vibrating your house. But it went on for too long, and it was unearthly because trucks don't rumble the earth beneath your feet.
Right.
And that's what makes earthquakes so interesting, exciting, and all that. All the things that
Well,
are scary.
I was born and raised in Lived in California until I was like 23, I think, or 20. Well, I moved out of California in 1991, so whatever that
Okay.
is. 30 years old, I moved out. Yeah. 1991, I said, I had enough of this crap. I'm out of here. All right, California just plain crazy. And so I got out of there and moved to North Carolina, which I don't know if that was any better, but but anyway, uh,
What
I lived
interesting.
with earthquakes. I lived with earthquakes all my life,
Yeah.
and so 4.8 or whatever. I guess if you'd never have them, then yes, that's probably a big deal, you know. But
Yeah.
when you're dealing with some of them are over 6, and when I felt one time, I talked about this story. And this is what I was going to talk about before. Just came back to me. See that? That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting on my bed playing my guitar, and yeah, I did play guitar. At least I thought I did. Anyway, my dog was listening to me play badly, and anyway, started shaking. Right, everything started shaking, and so my dog's already at the front door. Dogs have four-wheel drive, right? They're already at the front door, ready to go. And you're still trying to walk because the floor is beneath you. I got the wooden floor in the house, and so the wooden slats are moving back and forth like a fun house, you know.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to walk, and the walls are like shaking, back and forth. So you're seeing that with your eyes. And so I said, wait, now if I go like my dog, get on all fours and crawl really fast to the front door, and I can make it. Sure enough, that worked.
Mm.
And so I got up, barely able to stand up, and then I got out to the schoolyard across the street, and I looked back at the housing track, and this is in Pleasanton, California, right next to the Livermore Lab, right. And anyway, the whole housing track was like rolling like a water, like a big water
Yeah. Yeah.
flow,
Yeah. Those
and
those are
like
those
wow. And then
massive. I think to the S waves.
yeah, and then I felt the big boom under my feet in the schoolyard field, right?
Yeah.
And it was like I figured it was like at least a 7 on a what you call a Richter scale, right? And
Well, they
then
used to
turned
be.
out turned out it was a 7.1 actually on the news, and that was incredible to even guess how much that was even close to it, But when you live through a lot of them, you end up estimating what they are, how big they are, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was the first one I felt like that strong, especially with that giant thump in the bottom.
When was that? Was that
That was
nine?
in 78, 77, somewhere in
Okay, so
there.
that wasn't Loma Prieta.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
No.
Jenny lives in Pennsylvania, right?
Oh no, you
Okay.
had pictures fall off. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny's in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
New
I didn't know.
Jersey. New Jersey. She's in New
Oh,
Jersey.
Jersey,
Yes,
Jersey.
it
Yeah.
was maximum down there, 4.7, 4.8. Um,
I wonder if Anthony and Marine's okay.
Yeah. Now Anthony's in New York somewhere, unless he's in Pennsylvania, but Marine's in Pennsylvania. So
I also have to answer Charles Smart's question about Pons Brooks.
okay.
Um, the comet is just below Jupiter,
Oh, that
so
was a comment. Okay.
yeah, comet Pons Brooks. When you look, Charles, at Jupiter, you'll have 4.5 minutes if you're in totality to see it, and then when you look toward Jupiter, Pons Brooks is going to be in the region of Jupiter, so look around there. Okay.
Okay.
Didn't know Arkansas.
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 I'll be in Arkansas next weekend. I'll
Wow.
be at the Ozark UFO conference. So I'm speaking there, and um, I will be speaking on special UFO propulsion. How I think they're
Oh,
here,
nice.
dimensional shift stuff. Yeah, and it's not woo woo science anymore. It's actually
Right.
on the border of potential reality, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
and I'll be in Eureka Springs.
Now,
I'll land in, I'll land in
Bobby,
Fayetteville
yeah.
though.
Bobby, can you put Mark's website or YouTube channel up there and put his website up there?
I need to ask Keegan something about another Radio DX or
Oh,
about
okay.
and then I'm gonna do the there we go. All right.
Mark, you're not a moderator, so you can't do it yet.
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
It's nice to not have to do it.
Yeah. Bobby can do it, though. He'll do it.
Yeah.
He'll put it up there, and then that way we can get people over there. And you know, Mark and our friend Michael, or Calabos and Chad, he donates some equipment on
Yes.
live shows. They have live giveaway. I won a pair of binoculars.
You did, yeah.
The
Yeah,
last time.
we're the exclusive giveaway hub for Calabos and Tiffany, who are amazing. And it is skytourlive.org, as Ufi says. That's the portal to our YouTube channel. It's the portal to our Patreon. It's the portal to our data online, where you can get a year and a half or 2 years worth of photos that we've taken. Download them for free.
And if you become a patron, then you can donate to the Patreon club and have more fun stuff.
Yeah, you actually get a lot of very, very high res, finely processed images, because you can get all the raw images for free. We make them available, and those are pretty. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But the finely processed ones are the real showpieces. Those are the ones you frame. Those are the ones that are stunning. And we offer framed stuff. Yeah, if you want. And and we have an Etsy store called Sky Tour Shop on Etsy. And people have been buying stuff. They've been buying mugs and glasses, bedspreads.
Cindy Murphy, I think she bought a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people have. And you can get coasters, decks of cards, and they have all these photos, these finely processed photos we've taken. Those are on these objects. I have a pair of sneakers with the Horsehead Nebula on it and Orion. It's just beautiful.
Hey, Marco.
Hey, Marco. It's just at the tail end.
Yeah, well, we kept you an hour, Mark. We had you for a whole hour.
Well, I told you I'd come on. So I appreciate it, Ronald. And, maybe we'll do it again at some point.
Yeah, actually, it's been over 2 hours, as you can tell.
Got to love the comments that they share.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if I can go back and read the comments after somehow, I will.
You should be able to.
Are you broadcasting? Yeah. Well, I don't know that I can, because
on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, it's on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's on YouTube and Facebook and
yeah. I can't stream on Facebook anymore. I got my profile stolen by
again.
No, the only time. The same one, Indian hackers in Pune, India, and they wanted to ransom back my own profile to me. So I went, yeah, no, thank you, go away. So I restarted. But one of the disadvantages is I cannot stream to Facebook anymore, because it's tied to my email that I originally made Facebook with, and now I can't log in with that email anymore.
Oh boy,
it's stolen. So I have to log in with my phone number.
No,
and even though I'm logged in, I cannot do that with Streamlabs.
Oh, weird.
So now I can't stream to Facebook.
That's not fair.
Okay, it is what it is.
Did you have to cancel your Streamlabs subscription some way?
No, I don't have to. I mean, it's just I can just get rid of that source, and when I try to bring it back, it just I can't figure out how to get the new Facebook profile into it. Is what I'm saying.
That's weird. Yeah, I remember when I got my new phone or whatever, a new computer or whatever, and I forget my password. And then you got to create a whole new account, and it's like, oh, this is me. I had to make a new account.
Well, keep in mind that if you want to remember your passwords but not have to write them down ever, what I do is I've come up with a formula, and it's based on the website I go to. Um, and it's based on the bank I have. It's based on all these different things.
Right.
And so if I go to a website, the first thought I have is not what's my password, but what would my password be that I would create if I came to this site?
Right.
And um, I have to say, 10 out of 10 times, for instance, as an admin, in other words, it's never failed me yet. I say, well, my password would probably be this. And I type it in and bang, I'm in. Oh, okay. I have been here before. And that is my password because it's calculated. So my brain figures out what the password should be based on the website I'm at.
All right.
And I apply my formula. And if I get in, yep, I've been here before. If I don't get in, haven't been here before. You
All
know,
right.
because you can't remember all the bookmarks. You can't remember all the places you've
Right.
been. And you
Exactly.
can't always be referencing notes that says all to show your passwords. My passwords are all here.
Yeah.
And all I remember is one thing. I just remember the formula. I don't remember any passwords.
Right.
So you just do the formula, kind of
And
like
that way, if they kidnap you for the password, it's like I don't have any.
I literally would pass a lie detector test saying that I don't know the passwords because it's true.
This is how two-factor authentication will always for travel.
Huh. For
If
travel.
you enable 2FA on your favorite device, it will
Enable what?
provide you with some type of layer.
What do you say? I couldn't understand.
Favorite device? What, Bobby?
Yeah, two-factor authentication.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
two-factor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always use two-factor authentication.
Yeah, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have it on my original Facebook account, which is why what happened happened. So is what it is.
And I think now they have that as a requirement on most of the accounts now at this point. And so
Yeah, either
Yeah,
through a special authentication, but
yeah,
in
and
some
I'm happy
places
about
they got
that.
like a special app that you got to download, and that could be your 2FA.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm happy about that. I don't mind two-factor authentication.
Well, Jenny's a new fan. She likes you.
Good, that's great. Thank you,
That's
Jenny.
good.
Yeah.
All right, Marco's late to the party. He must have just woke up or something. All
Oh
right.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna stream tonight, but we actually I had to come on here with Ronald, so I couldn't stream tonight. So
Well, thank you for taking the time. And
if you wanted to stream, it's his fault.
it's my fault. Yeah,
If you
it's
wanna
my
stream,
fault. Blame
yeah,
me.
this night.
There's plenty of Friday
His
nights. Don't worry
fault.
about
His
that.
fault.
You're gonna be streaming extra on Monday anyway, so quiet down.
No, I'm not streaming Monday. I can't stream the
Oh,
eclipse.
darn it.
But I am going to be streaming. That's a good. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to be streaming my solar eclipse presentation that I did 2 nights ago. And like I said, that building was standing room only. Every seat taken. So it.
When are you gonna show that?
I'll do that. I'll do it on our SkyTour live stream. Tonight's Friday. I'll probably do it tomorrow or Sunday.
Oh, that'll be fun. Kind of like a icebreaker to the event.
Well, it's going to be an information and data for the upcoming eclipse. You know, and the people really loved it. I had one lady come up to me afterwards and said, "You know, I saw your presentation, and I've seen you once before, and I have to say, you're one of my favorite presenters." Kind of all embarrassing me, you know, but the whole point is, you have to be able to take the complex stuff and make it understandable, because everybody wants to be part of it, but sometimes they feel, well, that's over my head.
All
I
right,
can't
one quick story before you go. The timeline story at Bill's front yard. Remember when we had to set up in the front yard when you didn't have power after the tornadoes?
Yes.
And we had 4 days without power. And you had to do the presentation in the front yard with the toilet paper roll and then talking about the timeline. What was all that about? Who dropped it?
Well, you already told everybody everything, so we don't have to.
I
Go
only told the highlights.
yeah. You're really not a good storyteller, Ronald. We got to work on that. You're supposed to hold back.
I talk a lot. I don't really tell the story. I just talk a lot.
No, what he's referring to is, again, trying to make the complex understandable. The history of our planet is a very, very complex history. And it helps to see it with a metaphorical way that can be grasped by everybody. And so I chose to put the entire history of the earth on a roll of toilet paper. So on every sheet, I drew major milestones. There were 300 sheets. And yes, I have no life. So I just drew on every single sheet all the milestones. And if there wasn't a milestone for that particular point in history, I just put the number of the sheet. Okay. That's how I know there's 300. Okay. Well, anyway, we find it was 117 feet long. So I was doing it in the front lawn with an audience out on the lawn there because it was after a tornado. We didn't have any power. The conference we were gonna do it in was all shut down because you couldn't get there because there were trees all over the roads and everything. People dying just a block away. I mean, it wasn't a pretty sight. But when I did this presentation, I did out on the front lawn, and Bill Skywatcher, the producer for our Sky Tour radio show on Sunday nights from 6 to 8 on KGRA, Bill was holding the other half of the toilet paper roll because I couldn't I usually walk out into the audience and walk around the audience with the toilet paper. And they say I toilet papered my audience and they had a ball, kind of a thing. Well, I had to just unroll it and let Bill do the other roll and roll it up. So I got about halfway through, or just about a third of the way through, when Bill dropped his roll and it went rolling down the lawn and he had to roll it all back up from there again. So what happened was Bill dropped 1 billion years of Earth history. Okay, 1 billion years of Earth history. And it was 1.5 billion. So we never let him live it down.
Right.
But what's cool about this, and the reason that is such a good metaphor and a good way to show this, is that we see that life grew on the earth, over time. 2.5 billion years ago, that's when phytoplankton started. Oxygen started building up in our atmosphere. And our planet started sending out a signal to the cosmos that there's oxygen in this atmosphere. Oxygen in the carbon-based life world means life. Okay. So carbon-based life forms use oxygen to continue their lives. And so we do too, obviously. And so any other life form in the universe that uses carbon as a basis for life is going to use oxygen. So an alien species is going to look for oxygen in an atmosphere. So 2.5 billion years ago, our planet started building up this oxygen. And so we were putting out a big, blue, beautiful signal of oxygen in our atmosphere for over 2 billion years. So it stands to reason someone saw it and said, hey, there's life there. Let's go there. And they made it here once they got the technology to do so. Well, if you look at that timeline, you see that the timeline, 117 feet long, it comes down to the last 2 feet. And in that last 2 feet is an explosion of life. Life just explodes from the Permian era, 252 million years ago, all the way to the present day. A species, it's called radiative adaptation, where they just radiate out all many different, with a common ancestor, radiate out from a common ancestor. And this radiation effect is responsible for all the many species on the planet. Well, all of that happened in the last 2 feet of 117 feet of existence of this planet. And then you notice something really interesting, and that is that the dinosaurs, when they finally died out, they died out like about 1.5 feet ago. Okay. Out of all the 117 feet, okay, the dinosaurs that we consider ancient history were only 1.5 feet from today on this scale. So what does that mean? It means that they're recent history, not ancient history after all. So it changes the entire perspective entirely of how life is appreciated and understood on this planet. It's a simple metaphor, a roll of toilet paper. But you know what? It gets the job done. It works.
Yeah.
And everywhere I've done this around the world, actually, because I've done it around the world, everywhere I've done it, people have responded with an incredible, like, epiphanies of like, oh, I get it now. It's really, really cool. So there's your story, Ronald.
And
You
I think
happy
that
now?
yeah, and I think that was the first time I met you in person.
Oh, was it that where
Yeah.
you lost 1 billion years?
Yeah.
Okay,
What a great way to meet somebody, right?
that's right.
Oh boy.
Well, very good, man. It's thanks for having me on, Ronald. I'm gonna head out now.
Yeah, you are very welcome, and always welcome, of course. And anytime you have anything new to share, and he has a book called Unpopulated Universe.
The populated universe. It's
I was
on
close.
Amazon.
I was close.
What'd you call it?
Unpopulated, populated universe.
That would
There you
change things radically.
go. Populated universe, talking about exoplanets and different things.
Yeah, well, talking about the origin of life on Earth and why carbon life. I'm a carbon bigot, and why carbon-based life is probably the rule, not the exception in the universe, and why life in general is the rule, not the exception.
And you can find his book on Amazon. And if you want an
Amazon
autograph,
will
you'll have to meet him. You'll have to meet him in person and let him sign it.
I will be at Ozark April 11 through, that's only it's 5 days. April 11th through the 15th.
Oh wow!
And then I'm at Contact in the Desert from May 20. Well, I'm in Arizona May 21st to May 28th, and then from the 29th through June 5th, I'll be in Palm Springs, Indian Wells, California at Contact in the Desert. And there, we're going to do a Sky Tour live stream, live with a studio audience stream. And then we are giving away equipment the entire time we're there. I'm doing 2 lectures. And in both lectures, we're going to be giving away several pieces of equipment. We're going to be giving away binoculars. We're going to be giving away an entire Celestron telescope system to someone. And the way it's going to happen is when they buy a ticket for my talk, the people walk in, they get a raffle ticket walking in the door. And that raffle ticket is one of those lucky people in that room is going to get drawn as the winner.
That's nice.
And they're going to walk out, and they're not going to walk out with a giant telescope. They're going to walk out giving us their address, and we're going to ship them a telescope.
There you go.
Yeah, or binoculars. You got a binocular set from us.
Yeah.
And we use Celestron equipment right now, but that could change. And we're also going to be giving away a night vision scope system as well. One of the Aurora series,
Nice.
probably an Aurora Sport. I have one. It's fantastic. So it's going to be fantastic. So hopefully you guys can join us there. Contact in the Desert's going to be a phenomenal run this year.
Will there be options to pay for online viewing on it, or?
I don't know that. That's up to Contact.
Okay, I didn't know if they had anything on that available.
Yeah. Ozark doesn't, because I don't think they know the internet exists over there yet. I'm kidding. They do. It's just crappy internet out there. And you're in the middle of this is Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The internet is actually reasonable, but you got all these people using it all at once, so it really slows things down.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good deal then. Well, thank you again for being here, and again, always welcome. And I'll be watching you next time you stream. That's for sure.
Okay. Bye. Click.
Oh, and we'll have your check in the mail for you next week. All right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It'll have that extra zero on the pay.
And then these zeros, yeah. I'm gonna get 5 times 0, man. That's fantastic.
You'll be able to buy your new car now.
Yeah. And if you want to see me anywhere, you can go to History Channel. Proof is Out There is a series that's been using me for years. There's a new one out that I'll be on, which I don't know the actual name yet. And I'm on a bunch of documentaries, including a USO documentary by Darcy Ware. He just did it. That was cool. And
Yeah, I like seeing you on the History Channel every once in a while when I find you by accident. Sometimes, hey, I know him.
yeah, and I'm on History Channel, and all of a sudden I look at the camera and go, Ronald, get out of here.
All right. All right.
All right, man.
Oh, boy.
All right,
Well,
guys. Well, thanks
yeah.
a lot, and I will talk to you the next time.
All right. Have safe travels, and it was nice to have you here tonight. Yeah.
Thanks, Ronald. Thanks,
All right.
Bobby.
Yes.
See you later.
Have a great night. Bye.
Hey, guys. See you later.
All right. Well, that was fun, huh?
Yeah.
Seemed like everyone enjoyed it.
I had to do a thing. I actually muted myself before I sneezed.
Oh, okay, good.
The last time I sneezed, I had the mouse pointer and the mute button, and it was too late.
Oh.
It was already coming out.
All right. Well, go ahead and play the Eclipse promo, or play the promo that we just did for the Eclipse thing.
Let's do it. I'm trying to do a show. And remember, Dr. Pros reminding you that you should continue listening and watching the Errt Radio on your favorite device on Mixer, Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Trouble, Odyssey, and Rumble. And if you do that, I will come with my spaceship, beam you up, and you better pray to your God, because you know what's going to happen to you in your wallet, because we're going to be in need of donations. Please visit Errt, and if you don't want that to happen, you better go to ertradio.com and hit that big PayPal button, because we're going to be needing that bread. Let's go.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for being here tonight and joining in on the fun and watching us here tonight. Mark is a good friend and always a good guest to have on a podcast, and check him out and look him up and contact him if you want to have him. And yeah, he does have a few experiences of different things that he could talk about. So request an interview with him and see what happens. He might join you. And always fun to talk with, though. But check his live show out, though, usually every clear night that he doesn't have any traveling to do. He remotely runs the observatory from his home in Connecticut, and it's amazing stuff. So he knows what he's talking about. Had the college training for it, and then of course everything else he learned on his own on the way. So very interesting stuff. And if you haven't known him or you haven't met him, get to know him, and maybe someday you'll get to meet him. So, all right. So we'll see everybody on the next one. No, we're done for now. I think we're about wore out. Everyone else is going to sleep. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again, like I said, tonight. And hey, if you have nice weather, get out there and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's nighttime for most of us, but anyway, if tomorrow's nice, get out there and enjoy the nice weather. All right. Enjoy it while we can. We'll see you on the next one. I'll click it. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Bobby.
No problem.